Okay, welcome back. This is lesson 3 of unit 6. It starts out with a grid with letters all over it. It first wants you to construct a line through the x-axis, and what I'm going to do is I already know what it's going to make us do. For letter A, we're going to draw a line up and or right to left through A and B. And then we're going to draw a line up and down for F through F and C on the left. And those are going to be your X and Y axis. And we're going to label letter B 5 2/3 and letter C 5 1/3. Okay. So I'm going to move this. It's okay. Let's go ahead and start drawing and see if my hand is steady here. So first, it wants you to draw a line straight through here, through A and B. And it wants you to draw a line straight up through F and C. And that's going to be the y-axis. And this is going to be the x-axis, okay? All right. Now, this letter B, they're going to label it 5 2/3. And over here, letter C is 5 1/3, okay? So there you go. All right. Now, you need to know what each of the values of one block is. So one value. So what I had to do was I counted the number of, so this would be 0. So first it's want me to label the origin 0. So let's look at that 0. So let's redo that. So 0, okay. And then it wants me to find what each of the blocks is worth. So what I did was I had to count the number of blocks from 0 to 5 2/3, and I found out that was 17. Okay. So I would do 5 2/3, and I'm going to divide it by 17. And the reason I'm doing this is because if I evenly divide it into 17, it'll tell me what each of the blocks is worth. So if you remember how to do this, first I'm going to do 5 times 3 plus 2. So this will be 15. 5 times 3 is 15. Plus 2 is 16, 17. 17 over 3 times, and then remember you have to flip over the second number, so it would be 17 over 1. And if you flip it over, it's 1/17. Okay. If you remember how to reduce fractions, if you have the same number on the top and bottom, you can cross them off. So I got 17, they can get crossed off. And our final answer, that would be 1 and 1. Our final answer is going to be 1/3. So each of those blocks is worth 1/3. Okay. Well, I'm going to move down a little bit and see what else they want me to do and then come back. Okay. So it says identify all the points that have an x coordinate of 3 1/3. Okay. Identify all the points that have a y coordinate of 2 2/3. Okay. Okay. So 3 1/3. So let's find out what 3 1/3 is. So this would be 1. Sorry, I gotta go back to the pen. So that would be 1, counting 3, 1/3, 2/3, 3/3. 1/3, 2/3, 3/3, it's 2. And then 1, 2, 3, and that's 3. And 1/3. So 3 1/3 is right here. That's x. So let's go up the x line and see who is on there. So if you go up there, you can see that 3 1/3 has J, I, H, and D. So J, I, H, and D. So if we go back down there, so this would be J, I, H, and D. Those are all those, okay? Okay, good. So that's letter A. Letter B. Okay, I'm going to erase that. And we're going to go back up. Okay, and I'm going to also just erase that so it's a little nice, neater, right? Okay. All right. Let's go back up to the top, and the next one is 2 2/3 for y. So 2 2 2/3. Wait, did I say 2? Yep, 2 2/3. 2 2/3. So 2 2/3 would be, let's see, 1. That's because that's 3. That would be 1, 2, and 2/3 would be 1, 2. So here you go. This is 2 2/3. So you can see there are also 4. There's F, E, H, and K. So F, E, H, and K. So if I go back down here, F, E, H, and K. Okay, so which point is, okay, this is getting a little more difficult to do. Wonder if I could have had 2 of these going on at the same time with both. So I'm going to erase that, F, E, H, and K. Okay. The next question, which point is 3 1/3 units above the x-axis and 2 2/3 units to the right? Okay, so that one should not be too hard. So let's find out. Let's go back to our grid. Okay. And okay, so they're asking if we had a unit that goes straight up here, and we have a unit, let's see. Okay, and that other unit would go straight across from the other side, and that's letter H. So that's 3 1/3 at X and 2 2/3 at Y. So they wanted to know which would have both X at 3 1/3 and Y at 2 2/3. So that would be H. Okay, all right, H. So let me erase these. Okay, so H is the answer to number, or is that a letter? Let's go back down. Okay, so letter C would be H. Okay, so H, please mark down H. Okay, and the coordinate pair would obviously be it would be 2 2/3, comma 3 1/3. So can I get room over here? Look at that, going erasing stuff. Okay, so let's do that. So we got, so the H would be, so this would be the actual coordinate, would be 2 2/3 X, and it would be 3 1/3 Y. Okay, good. So letter D, which point is located 5 1/3 units from the y-axis? Okay, 5 1/3 units from the y-axis. Let's go back up to our graph. I have to put it back on. 5 1/3 from the y. So if we go from the y, let's start all the way over on this side. So right here, and we go 5 1/2 units over. And there's 5 1/3. That's 5 2/3. So the only unit it could be is letter K. So I'm gonna have to say that that's about 5 1/2 units from there. That's the closest one I can come up with. Okay. Okay. This is getting a little messy. Okay. So we'll go down here, 5 1/3. Let's see what we got. And which point is located 1 2/3 units along the x-axis? So 1 2/3 along the x-axis. So 1 2/3. Did I say 1 2/3? Let's see. I'm reading, by the way, I'm reading letter E. Which point is 1 2/3? I hope I don't have to do this on other assignments. I'm going to have to figure out another way to do this. So 1 and 1/3 along the x-axis. Oh, 1 and 2/3. Okay, that makes better sense. So 1 and 2/3. Let's see. So 1 and 2/3 along the x-axis. That would be letter M. 1 and 2/3. If you followed it straight down, that's 1 and 2, 1/3, 2/3. Yep. So that's letter M. Okay. Letter M is going to be M. So letter M. Okay. This one was letter K, by the way, for letter D. Okay. K and M. Give the coordinate pair for each of the following points. Okay. Okay. All right. So why don't I do this? The points are, let's see. I'm going to erase this stuff. Okay. Okay. All right. So the points are K, I, B, and C. K, I, B, and C. So let's see. K, I. Okay, there you go. And we got the ones with K, I, B, and C. So K, I, and that's a B, and letter C. Okay. All right. Okay, so I'm going to start. I want to list these out here. So K, let's do K. Okay, K is going to be, so the X would be, since B is at 5 and 2/3 X, then there would be 1/3 less. So that's going to be 5 and 1/3. Okay, and the K would be at 2 and 2/3. Okay, sorry, 2 and 2/3. Okay, that's it. Let's do letter I next. Letter I. And letter I is going to be straight down. It's at number, let me see something here. 1, 2, 3 and 1/3. So 3 and 1/3. And if we follow that up to letter I, it's going to be at 1 and 2/3, I believe. 1 and 2/3. Okay, 1 and 2/3. There we go. We got letter B at the bottom there. So it's going to be X it already gives you the X coordinate, which is 5 and 2/3 and 2/3. And guess what? The Y is at 0. This is easy. Okay. And the last one is C. And C is at 0x because it's on the line on the left. And it is at 5 and 1/3, which it already gives you. Okay, remember the bottom number goes first at the bottom of the graph, and then the number, the Y, that's the X coordinate, and the Y coordinate goes last. All right. Okay, the last question. So that's K, I, B, and C. Okay, let's bring it down a little bit. Okay. And it wants us to name the points that are located at those coordinates. So I have 1 and 2/3 and 2/3. So 1 and 2/3 and 2/3. So let's find that. 1. So 1 and 2/3 and 2/3. Okay. Let me erase some stuff. Okay. And I wish there was a bigger eraser. I wonder if there's a way to make a bigger eraser. Okay. So it says 1 and 2/3 and 2/3, right? Okay. Okay, so let's go 1 and 2/3 and 2/3. So 1 and 2/3. So there's 1 on A. So 1 and 2/3 is going to be right here. That's 1 and 2/3 and 2/3, which is 2 up. And that's going to be letter M. Okay, so the first one is M. Okay. All right, and the second one, let's go back down and see. The second one is 0 and 2 and 2/3. All right, 0 and 2 2/3. So 0 would be all the way over here. This is 0 and 2/3. So 2/3. Hold on. No. Go look. So 0 and 2 2/3. Sorry. 2 2/3. So we have to go up 2 2/3. So 2 2/3, that's letter F right there. 2 2/3. So the second one is letter F. 0, 2 2/3. So if you have your paper out, you can mark those down. Okay. The next one is going to be 1 0, 1 comma 0. And let's do that real quick. 1 comma 0, that's going to be our letter A down here. 1 because it's 1 and 0. Okay, and the last one is going to be 2 and 5 2/3. 2 and 5 2/3. So let's see. 2, which is right here. Sorry. There's 2, so let's follow it up. And 5 2/3, which brings us to N. I don't know why my pen isn't. So the answers to those four are M, F, A, and N in that order. M, F, A, and N. I can't wait to clear my screen. I am so sorry with all this stuff. So M, F, that's letter G, by the way. So for letter G, the next question says, which point has an equal X and Y coordinate? So that means where would you have the same X and Y coordinate? And that's going to be, that's going to be L. L is going to be 5, 5. So letter L. If you notice, L has a 5 down on X and it has a 5 Y. So it's 5, 5. So it's going to be L. Let's see. I want to clear this whole thing off so it doesn't look, that's going to be L. And if you didn't get letter G, it's M, F, A, and N. Okay. Letter I. Give the coordinates for the intersection of two axes. Another name for this point in the plane is the blank. Give the coordinates for the intersection of two axes. Okay. The two axes is 0, 0. So I'm sorry. I was thinking about it. 0, 0. And its name is the origin. It's called the origin. That's where 0, 0 is the origin. It's where everything begins. 0. All right. I am going to pause on this. It wants me to plot the following points and the distance. So if you're going to do distances between points, you just need to know that each square is worth 1/3. I am going to erase all this because it is too much stuff. So I'm so sorry. So 4 and 1/3 and 4 and 1/3 and 6 and 4 and 2/3. Remember, use the first number is that bottom line and the second number is the Y. Okay. And what is the distance between E and H? Or EH. Okay, so I can help with that one. I'm going to let you plot the J points, guys. E and H. Here we go. So E and H, you can count those points on E and H. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's 8. And that's going to be, so since it's 8, and we know that each of those blocks is worth 1/3, 8 times 1/3. Remember, put your 1 under there, and that's going to be 8 over 3. And 3 goes into 8 2 times, and that's going to be 6. And there's 2 left over. Okay. 2 2/3 is the distance between E and H. Okay, EH. All right, and that's a line segment. All right. Okay, let's go down to see what we got next. So that was a lot. What is the length of HD? I'm going to let everybody else do that. You just remember each of the blocks is worth 1/3. And go ahead and calculate that up. And that is the end of lesson 3 in unit 6. Okay. I'm going to try to figure out how to have 2 screens open in the future so I can switch the screens instead of having to scroll down with all the ink all over it. I do apologize for this one. Okay. Goodbye.